So like, there is no reason why they're not looking at like magical trans people on Twitter and going, oh, that's it. Here's the reality. They're being crazy again. They're calling Cenk a Nazi.
Yes, they are. And you're looking for any excuse. I agree with that. But then stop giving them excuses, which is the point you started with.
Okay. There's a major disagreement here. We are at odds,
but we're not at odds. You say don't talk about it. I say don't talk about it. We say you say you're against the bill. I say I'm against the bill. You're for trans rights. I'm for trans rights. But my point is
but the difference is the same people that call you transphobic also call me transphobic all the fucking time. The difference is I don't change my perspective at the end of the day, or even offer it any fucking additional light, because who fucking cares? You just do what you think is right and you keep pushing. And I think that it's very dangerous and very scary when you get moved by your base of support that you have worked tirelessly for 20 years and like building and solidifying, turning on you and saying you're right wing now. I think that is
didn't happen though. I agree with you. It's 11 people on Twitter, so our audience is just as gigantic as it's always been. So you can go ahead and cry about it if you're among those 11 people. So I'm not worried about that. Hasan, I gave it as a small example, and the defund the police is a much larger example.
Okay, we'll get to that in a second.
Yo, what a pup.
Pigeonholed by mainstream media and
shit was muted
as radicals, when in reality we
you
are
probably
the
can't tell, but I got a haircut.
So we need to focus and get our messaging right.
And that's why that's why looking at a couple random people and greatly emphasizing the impact that they have, and even attributing like the mainstream media's perspective shift on progressives, when you and I both know that they never fucking gave a shit. They don't even need like a couple random trans people.
Because you would be able to see like all this fucking much hair, even with the beanie before the haircut. But
there's no reason to
like
talk about that.
it's
now,
just
as far as like
a lot less hair.
There's one other point that
I think it was like maybe like 2 pounds worth of hair that I cut off.
Talking about state legislatures. This is really important.
I had a coupon for sport clips.
Broader Republican
I was like,
project,
fuck it.
and I think you'll agree with me on this, has been that they want to dismantle the power of the legislative body,
see if I
and then
can
utilize the state
win
legislatures
games and not
where
lose
they
all
know they
shit.
have control due to gerrymandering and ridiculous district maps, where they can, even if they don't have.
I think I went 3 years without a haircut almost.
The majority of the votes,
or more than 3 years maybe. I don't fucking know.
Maintain a majority in the House.
I think
and
like
Senate,
I got a haircut
right? State House and State Senate.
post-pandemic once, or like when the pandemic started, and then
there's
I
a
haven't had
secondary
one
side to this,
since.
though, because there is the judiciary. So they've also attacked. They've dismantled the legislative body. They have pushed their power in undemocratic ways through the.
I think ever since like middle school, I get haircuts very infrequently.
By court packing, right? So they have this very open project within the Federalist Society.
I cut it,
all the way up
I think
to the
like
Supreme
3
Court
weeks
of the
ago.
United States, where they have
It was like down like
judges
fucking to
that
my
they place
biceps.
in positions of power through appointments, right? So when you do
and then
that,
I was like, I need to trim it, and I basically just like took like maybe 3 inches off.
That these Republicans are actually acting out the desires of their
I just did it myself, but then I was like, I have a coupon for fucking free haircut, so I might as well fucking do it.
Passed in every single state legislature is objectively false. Why is it objectively false? Because one, Republicans have never cared about their base. Let's be fucking real. They just use the culture war issues as a way to like draw up support. But in reality, they don't really give a shit about what the base wants. If they did, then they would have never in a million years allowed the Roe v. Wade decision to be overturned, because that was a much better way to just keep dangling in front of the most active base of support they have, white evangelical Protestants,
Fuck your knights.
and never actually
That's what you
never
get for
actually
pre-moving,
push
bitch.
to actively dismantle Roe v. Wade and completely criminalize abortion in red states. That's why they have a major fuck up right now, because they're suffering from their own success. So I don't think that pointing to state legislatures and bills that they've passed to say, no, there is actually a decent amount of support for anti-trans legislation from the Republican base of support is correct, especially when all signs point to the opposite. At the national party level, the Republican Party is currently going through a crisis, an identity crisis. They have capitulated to incredibly bloodthirsty, psychotic fucking culture warriors for so long that they end up leading like Ron DeSantis, pushing for objectively unpopular bills, okay, by utilizing the state legislatures, and then suffering the consequences on the
I used to make that mistake a lot, just fucking nothing but pre-moves, and then it just fucks you.
Yeah. So look, again, there's a lot I agree with, but let's break it down one by one. So it can be both, Haas. It can be that, yeah, they've done the gerrymandering. Gerrymandering has done most of the work for them, and it made their seats pretty much impenetrable. So if the Republican legislators do something, it doesn't necessarily mean that the voters of that state want it, for sure, right? But it can be that also the vicious end of the Republican base does want it, and the polling indicates that they do want it, right? And so, but the larger point here is...
I don't agree.
No,
I don't think they're...
No.
I don't think they're...
Hold on. Let me be clear. Because it depends. If you say, do you hate trans people? The answer is no in the poll for American people. They are in favor of trans rights. They're in favor of treating trans people in the same exact way about employment, health care, etc., which is wonderful. And again, 2/3 of the country is progressive, okay? So when you go to ask them about bathrooms, no. When you ask them about the military, no. These people are willing to give their lives for this country. And you don't want them? What kind of a monster are you? So the American people are on our side on all those things. That's why they had to go digging for this stupid high school sports thing, right? And on that, I've seen the polling, and it's over 70% of Americans are on the side of banning them, right? Now, I'm on the other side. I'm with the 30%. I leave the kids alone, right? It doesn't matter if your daughter was going to break a record or whatever. Just calm down. Stop checking the genitals of kids. You're sickos. Leave them alone, right? So, but having said that, what they're trying to do, Haas, and this is the oldest trick in the book, and they did this back in the 1980s, is they dig until they find something unpopular, and they make Democrats or the left wing attack them on it. So, for example, flag burning. So flag burning, everybody knows it's protected by the First Amendment. They know it's protected by the First Amendment, but they want to make it seem like we hate America and we hate the American flag and we all want to burn it. So they contrive this bullshit issue. No one's burning the American flag. It's happened like twice in the last 20 years. And then the Democrats can't help but say, well, it is a First Amendment issue. You can burn the flag. And they go, aha, you unpatriotic assholes, right? So so my point is the same point you're making, which is don't fall for that trap. So just say, hey, we disagree on this. Move on.
You're saying don't fall for that trap and don't even defend it or don't even. I'm saying
defend on the bills, because when there's a bill, you have to defend.
Yeah.
But then point out super aggressively what the Republicans are doing wrong.
Chelsea man.
A good evening. Go back to your own country. What the fuck?
Yo, thanks for the
follow.
follow.
Trans people are reacting the way we are because we hear people make these talking points, and the next thing we know, people are saying, "This is why I had to become a conservative."
I was like, I know that name.
And that right-wing slant is true for the likes of Dave Rubin and many others, even including like former TYT people. I think that's where a lot of people are defensive when they hear you talk about.
Currently I am up, but I could really fuck it up if I don't
fall into the trap of
I could blunder easily, but
jumping on every single
right now I am winning. I am up 3 pieces of material, and he's kind of like in the back foot.
Some psychotic weirdo British person came up with at the fucking Daily Mail, right? If you are even pushing that discourse as though this is like real and applied and genuinely a threat to democracy because it's something that everyone is like forcing you at gunpoint to utilize, then all of a sudden you are a culture warrior, whether you admit it or not, because these issues are distractions and they're stupid as fuck, and that nobody should even talk about it, let alone amplify it. I'll take it one step further though.
Okay, that right there is something I've done before though. You forget to protect your queen, and he was basically gonna lose his queen, and that's why he just fucking surrendered.
Liberties. That's their goal. And if the Democratic Party is not actually pushing, okay, if the Democratic Party is not
accuracy was 70 versus 78.
Material realities to change in a positive way, and giving something to the
Like
Republicans.
one way to get better, which I
right,
sometimes don't do, is like review your games after.
Then all of a sudden,
but I try to like as much as possible. But what he fucked up on is he made a lot of pre-moves when we're in like really fucking low elo, and I'm not gonna do exactly what he wants me to do. So his opening
like whenever someone comes in and they're like
is to build up his pieces, and then I just went for attack. Like my bishop came out, and his knight is under attack and only defended by his rook. So I was like, honestly, I'm cool with trading it because a bishop and a knight are the same material. So I just took his knight because I don't care. But his pre-move was moving the bishop up. So because he pre-moved, he didn't take my bishop, so that was a fucking mistake by him. And then I was like able to just move my fucking bishop back. And then this was also another pre-move. And then I was able to like build up my pieces, and he was just kind of like on the back foot the rest of the time.
Okay, so I'm like, I ignored, and then they just keep going, and I don't give a shit. They could do whatever they want, but then don't pretend that I brought it up. No, you brought it up, and you made it a giant issue, and you're the one hurting the progressive cause and the trans rights cause. We win on every goddamn issue on trans rights. Why are you going and dying on the hill that no one agrees with you on? You're gonna ruin trans rights on other issues.
Okay.
We're gonna lose because you're being so extreme. And then every ally you have, you're like, nope, I'm gonna be more pure than them, so I'm gonna burn their bridge down. I don't want any allies. Okay, well then don't have any allies.
Okay, if both of our goals are aligned and we are interested in coalition building and actually fighting for justice, okay? There's two different things to do here. One is try to engage in purges and try to say this purity spiral is self-defeating, which I agree with you on.
100%.
Or the other thing is to just stay the course and just let people chirp into the void and never give them an ounce of pushback. Because why? Every single if people are looking for class, if people are looking for no, that's not a get out of here situation.
Here, I'll tell you exactly what happens. This is really important because you know why. So
right here, I'm not defending this with anything else because I'm already defending with the
all the other
I don't care about
streamers and stuff. These come in and go, oh, we're better than the Young Turks. We're better than the Young Turks. We agree with you 200%. They're such monsters, and they clutch their pearls and stuff, and etc. And then we go, okay, guys, we said a tiny thing. You guys said this nuclear reaction. Okay, say another tiny thing and defend our position for like 3 minutes on air, right? And then another round of nukes, right? We're better than the Young Turks. We're the most pure. We're the most progressive. Radical, radical, radical. We have to be the most radical. And if you don't believe us, then you're a Nazi. Well, and then I made it an issue. I talked about it for about a total of maybe 3 minutes in all the Young Turks, okay? And then everyone else talked about it for 200 hours and pretended that it was us.
Okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing that there's two different parts here. One, you've immediately described bad faith arguments to these people. You're like saying they're cloud operated. Okay, so one, that might not be the case. There might be genuine disagreements. That's number one. But at which point you think, well, you know better than them, right?
No, they could disagree.
Okay,
I don't give a shit about
but listen. But like, okay.
But okay,
even
if
they are bad faith,
I'm gonna call them Nazis.
Okay, even if they are bad faith, right? Okay. Even if they're bad faith, then what the fuck are you doing giving them more clout?
I don't.
No,
I don't say anything. And then they do 200 shows about
it. It doesn't matter.
And then pretend I'm the one saying it.
It doesn't matter.
So hey, can we agree that all the others, like Lance or whatever the fuck their names are?
No.
Oh, no. They should all shut the fuck up then. Okay, right? Because that's what you're saying.
Dude.
Why are you making a big issue out of it?
Because
I only said it for 1 minute. They said it for 200 minutes. Why don't they shut the fuck up? I don't even understand what we're disagreeing about. So we agreed 99% on the issue.
I like how I have fucking anime Wi-Fi playing, and then
it's not a major issue, and people are making a
big deal in the back.
I think the anger that people feel towards that sort of thing inevitably derives from offering any fucking light to that conversation, especially when you understand that it is just like bullshit talking points that have been focus tested and being brought up. The moment that you give it any validity, okay, and now I'm not even talking about like.
Let's talk about a general thing.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm not even talking about like talking to other leftist people or like defending your positions or whatever. I'm talking about how deeply and undesirably unproductive it is to offer any amount of consideration to
I'm going to offer a queen trade
talking points that are cooked up in a fucking laboratory about 0.1% of the fucking population.
As they do 200 shows back to back.
There are a million streamers, and there are a million streamers that have not only said things about you, but have said things about me as well. There's a difference between you and I, though, because no matter what happens, when people do write those things or people do say those things about me, I've learned the hard way not to give it any credence whatsoever and stay the fucking course. And ultimately, if people have made up their minds that I am a transphobic person, then that's, GG's. There's nothing I can do about that. If people think that I'm bad on racial issues or if I'm a misogynistic person, then there's nothing that I can change about their perspective. They are entirely too malleable, which is why I have assumed positions on so many things that the American population considers radical, whether it be foreign policy and what I believe in, or whether it be trans issues, even if it's something that Americans across the board consider to be like unpopular. The reason why I can stay the course in spite of that pushback is because I fucking ignore it, because I know that it is unproductive. That's it. Yeah. And the second thing I will say, and this is something that I try to talk to my audience about quite frequently, is that being a progressive is not about having black people or trans people hype you up all the fucking time. There are going to be plenty of moments.
Dude, I was like, I'm watching this.
Activists.
I might as well fucking just play chess and then like go live and like just
marginalized communities
do something. Because like I can't just watch it without like other shit going on, because
it's not even
I already
about
knew fucking Cenk was
logical
gonna be
conclusion to those
just
problems. It's
wild.
about being empathetic, right? That's at the heart of the matter.
So let's
being empathetic.
Let's do a super important distinction, okay? Because and I don't think I made a good enough case for this distinction, and I want to be way clearer. There's a difference between randos in the world that care about this issue, whether they agree with me or disagree with me, or they heard the wrong thing about me,
by the way,
or they have heard the right thing and they still think this guy's a Republican and I hate him. No problem, okay? And media figures, streamers, etc. Those guys are largely scorpions, and it's because the incentives and disincentives create scorpions. Because when you attack someone else, you get into the algorithm loop on YouTube, mainly YouTube, but in some other places as well, and you try to get attention. So they don't even know, I hope they don't know, a lot of them, that they're doing it on purpose. I hope they're not doing it on purpose.
I put that shit,
right?
the screen
but they think like, no,
right above me
really
because
important.
my TV is my fourth monitor, and it's like right above me. So if I look up, I'm actually looking at the actual screen, just like how it looks like I'm watching it right there.
Radical left? Are you crazy? No way. The right wing started this. Why did Steven Crowder dress up as me?
Yeah,
right?
I was about to say, listen, but you're.
So why did Jimmy Dore attack me like a nut job? Why did Sargon of Akkad go back like 15 years?
Partially
why
because
did Sam Harris? Why did all of them attack us?
Partially because you
YouTube,
respond.
We're the largest.
Partially because you respond. It's called getting farmed. Trust me, I know from personal experience what that's like. I, for a very long time, I got farmed like a motherfucker. Okay, because just like you, perhaps because I am also as stubborn as you are. I couldn't shut the fuck up anytime there was like any error.
Okay, so if I move up,
whenever
you're
someone
I take.
said, this is what Hasan believes or whatever the fuck, I immediately rushed to correct the record, thinking that there was good faith discussion to be had. Now, out of the people that are actually criticizing you, there are people who I do like, who I do appreciate. I'm not gonna get into that part of the conversation because I feel like that's gonna blow a lid in this. It's gonna make you blow a gasket. But the reality is that ultimately, if you want to have a productive, if you want to have a productive and successful coalition, you just can't stress that shit out. Okay, you can't.
No, I'm good with
even
it.
Even if
Look,
they say
super clear. You like what we're saying, you come to the Young Truce. If you don't like it and you want super radical weirdos, there's like a million shows for you.
That's what you're doing. Like you're casting everyone else in a bad light. Don't even talk about it. Don't even bring it up. That's it.
Okay, so I know I've been punched in the face 200 times, and I'm not allowed to punch back.
Exactly, 100%. That's what I'm saying. Yes, you get it.
Okay,
that is what I'm saying. That's what being fucking progressive is. Okay. If someone on your side is punching you, you ultimately turn around and say, I don't give a fuck. It's fine, because the real motherfucker whose face I have to punch is out there that actually holds on to all levers of power. Because while we're fucking arguing about the minutia of your perspective on trans issues, or whenever like you choose to engage in like any kind of reactionary framing of an issue, there are actual fucking people out there who are making everyone's lives actively worse. So why the fuck would I ever care about what some dumbass fucking YouTuber has to say when Ben Shapiro is, again, stealing our fucking lunch money and doing whatever the fuck is necessary to keep propagandizing every fucking awful position that makes people's lives worse. Right. That's why I fucking cover Ben Shapiro every day, by the way, you dumb cocksuckers in here who fucking think like, why does the son talk about Ben Shapiro all the time? That's why, because he's the fucking bad guy. You will never see me fucking agree with Ben Shapiro or Steven Crowder or any of those fucking bullshit charlatans out there, because those are the fucking bad guys. I don't give a fuck if people call me transphobic or racist or whatever the fuck. I'm not gonna stray away from my point of view. But more importantly, and I don't think you do either, but there's this one issue that you and I have. There's one disagreement. There's one difference that you and I have. You spend entirely too much time thinking about all the people on your side who fucking hate you, okay? Who say you're bad and wrong, even if it's a misunderstanding. Don't even fucking clear it up. It doesn't matter. People will see where you are genuinely coming from when you keep saying the same shit that you're saying that you've said for 20 fucking years. That's it, okay? A lot of people yelled at me during the fucking Hogwarts drama. There were every trans content creator on Twitter yelled at me, okay, and said, you're a fucking piece of shit, you're transphobic. Oh, what, you can't play one fucking game that's transphobic? It was an idiotic fucking
The
take.
thing I know about
I said it a
this
month in
level
advance
of
that this is
gameplay,
entirely too popular of an IP.
none of these
The best
people
thing to do
know how to
is not, like,
close,
try to do boycott.
how to like clutch a
Is try to
game.
boycott this fucking IP that's
So I never
completely
surrender,
devoid
because
of
most of the time I can get
transphobic
them to
person that is making
stalemate,
money off of
or
it, and instead
I can
use
end
it
up
to
winning somehow.
fundraise or
I've done it so many fucking
push
times.
the issue further. Everybody yelled at me, said that was incredibly transphobic. What the fuck did I do? I shut the fuck up. I said, you guys are wrong, but it doesn't matter. History will absolve me. It did. Who gives a shit? The game fucking sucked. Right-wingers like Ben Shapiro
Right now,
made
since
commentary
he's
on
attacking,
it, saying
he's gonna take that right now.
Hasan is terrified of trans people in his own audience, and that's why he also
if he goes to take my pawn,
audience, when if I wanted to capitulate, it would have never
he's gonna
said,
make it so I can't move.
And I would have just stayed the course and never played it and said, yes, it's a transphobic fucking game. But I didn't do that because I'm a stubborn piece of shit. I yelled at the people and I moved on. Many of those people who thought I was transphobic in that fucking fervor have come to the realization that they were maybe wrong.
I know how to
finish.
finish.
Don't want to admit that they're
I've
wrong.
checkmated plenty of people. It's just I fucked up earlier.
They finally, quietly come to that conclusion.
And now
that you were,
on the back pedal.
If they truly do believe that you are
like this is he doesn't know how to checkmate other
so
than a fucking ladder, because that's how he ended up having to checkmate me. There was like a bunch of opportunities he had earlier, which I don't think I can only get one review a day.
Progressive media person.
He could have checkmated me a lot earlier.
That's it.
Right,
but then I blundered.
Move on, because it's a microscopic issue.
There you go.
So,
let's talk about defund the police now.
Okay, so the overall issue.
And before we do that, I gotta run the 3-minute ad break real quick, and I'm gonna pee. But you can keep going. Oh shit!
I should have figured.
No, I did already. But people can still watch because there's 56,000 subscribers and 56,000 strong. So most people are not seeing the ads.
I will go
for. What I'm gonna say, guys, is that there's two icebergs that we need to talk about in terms of why what could prevent progressive victory. Started with the iceberg to catch you guys up, if you later, of progressives going far and then getting painted as radical when in reality we're 2/3 of the country. I'm going to pick that conversation back up in a second, but you know what? I'll use this time to do.
Wait, why am I going against a 533?
Not for myself. It's actually, and especially if you're subscribers to Hasan.
If I win, I only get 6.
You guys might be perfect for this.
If they win, they get 11.
I got no dog in this fight. I like the guy who's doing it. Larry Lessig is the Godfather campaign finance reform to get money out of politics. But if you go to cancelsuperpacs.com, you can win $50,000 especially if you're a good editor. Not going to be that many people that enter, okay? So $50,000, cancelsuperpacs.com. All they're doing is they're asking you to make like a super, interesting, understandable, relatable video about getting money out of politics. But they have all the instructions at cancelsuperpacs.com, okay? So I hope one of you guys wins the $50,000. That'd be awesome. I'm done with it. And then we've been talking about my book, Justice is Coming. You can buy that at tyt.com/justice. tyt.com/justice. Okay.
This man is doing an ad within an ad break, dude.
That's what I did.
Hell yeah.
Because
all right,
you went to the bathroom. What am I going to do? Talk to an empty chair? I'm not Clint Eastwood.
You can talk to the chat, but anyway, listen.
I just did. I just made them somebody in there $50,000.
Okay. What were we going to talk? Oh, defund the police.
Oh, he didn't.
Okay. Issue with messaging overall. Another great issue because you and I have duked it out on our famous Thanksgiving specials that we do, where you come here and we argue about issues that we have disagreements on, genuine disagreements on. One of them is crime, right? Not to say that I like crime and I think crime is awesome. I jokingly do say that from time to time, but ultimately nobody fucking wants crime. We might have a disagreement on how to solve that problem, right? Now, you brought up defund the police. So I would like to hear your position on that, and before I get into my monologue.
Okay, so first of all, it's the world's worst framing, and framing matters because it gets into people's heads and leaves the impression of who you are as a movement. Mm-hmm. And so whenever I talk to people who are in favor of defunding the police, the very first thing they usually say is, no, I don't really mean defund the police. Then why did you call it that? So don't call it that at all.
What would you message it as?
So look, it depends on what you're trying to do. So for example, and I believe in, as I think you, but we do have real substantive disagreements too, but I believe in criminal justice reform. I believe the cops' training is completely wrong. They're taught only protect yourselves, don't worry about the citizens, etc. Are there racial issues? Of course there are. Are there class issues? Of course they are. So I would want massive reform, and I would want the messaging to be around reform, which the great majority of Americans actually agree with. Again, 2/3 of the country is progressive. They agree with us. Don't drive them away with bad messaging, okay? When people hear defund the police, they hear there's not going to be any cops, and they panic. And it's not just white folks that panic. It's not just right-wingers that panic. Ilhan Omar almost lost her seat in a primary because 78% of African Americans in her district did not want to defund the police.
So how about this? Here's my reframing. When this works with a lot of liberals that I talk to, at least, rich and poor. Hey, police, do your fucking job. Is that good?
That's actually
better?
Really good, and I talk about that all the time.
Okay, listen.
So his knight is going to run away, and
right? With defund
if he goes there,
as far as messaging goes, and as far
then
as
I gotta move.
You yourself.
But if he goes anywhere else,
basically
I can attack.
Created an argument that you are not using in this situation. You said the media is all too powerful in manipulating public consciousness, and they can change people's attitudes for the better, even if it's entirely at odds with the material realities and the oppressive constructs built on top of those material realities. If that is the case,
you get 1 minute
then
to predict.
Optics issues are simply an issue caused by the media not pushing the message enough. Is that what you're saying? So if in a future where MSNBC is truly progressive, they could just be like, no, defund the police is actually fucking super
That was a good move.
Let's go forward. Do you think people would be on board with it?
No, because it's mixed. So yes, media pushes the message, but the message itself is also. So if you had the message of kill all people, that would not work well, even if MSNBC pushed it to ad nauseum, right? And defund the police is such a fundamentally wrong framing.
You think defund the police is a message as aggressive and as wrong as like kill all people?
No. I gave an extreme example, so not all examples are the same, but I think defund the police is almost as bad a message as you could possibly.
Oh my God, I'm dumb.
It leaves the impression that there will be no police, no safety, no security.
Oh my God, I could have fucking moved there. It would have been.
That's a fact, and it's shown in every poll.
So dumb.
Okay, defund the police means what? Reallocate some of these ballooning police budgets to social safety nets and social programs, because that's where crime starts, and that's the best mechanism to combat certain types of crime, at the very least. Okay.
So that's where we get into substance.
So you don't agree with the policy, not just the optics. Let's just clarify that.
Yeah. So now the optics, I 100% disagree. When it comes to policy, it's much more nuanced. And by the way, if people don't like nuance, then you're not going to like me at all. Because you're, oh no, I want a black and white world. I want everything to be extreme. No, I'm not that guy. So where does the nuance come in? So if you say to me, should we reform the police, reform the training? Obviously, as I said earlier, I say yes, right? Say, let's reallocate some of the funding, social services, to keep the same amount of money, but move some of it from cops.
I don't think they should keep the same amount of money.
Okay, hold on, we'll get to that in a second. Some of it to social services because they can handle X better. I'm open to that. I'm totally open to that. Okay.
So it's a semantics difference. You're saying like keep the same amount of money, but don't defund it.
Okay. First of all, semantic difference is a giant difference, as we just discussed. Optics, framing, etc., makes a huge difference.
That might have been a good bad move.
It doesn't matter.
There are some things I
don't want to attack the right now.
You don't agree with the policy of like our ballooning police budgets year over year have not actually genuinely improved the lives or genuinely fucking put a dent in like in fixing some of the pervasive problems. You don't agree with that?
No. So look. So here's what happened. So if you'd asked me that a couple of years ago, I probably would have agreed with that. And then we did in some places reallocate some of the money or cut some of the money. And so it's a little bit misleading in places like Washington, D.C., because they took from one budget and moved it to another budget, etc. But the bottom line is they did lose a number of cops in a bunch of cities. Okay, they lost raw number of cops.
Yeah, they died to COVID.
Yeah. Well, look, there was a lot of factors, okay, including cops not doing their job, which I'll get to in a second. But having said that, less cops, but that's not the main problem. But that was one of the contributing problems that led to more crime. Now, other things that I agreed with now have created issues. So, for example, no cash bail. Okay, I was totally in favor of no cash bail because I totally get the argument. I was the one putting forward that argument of, hey, a rich guy and a poor guy does the same crime. Rich guy gets out on bail. Poor guy can't get out on bail. That's totally unfair, right? But what wound up happening is recidivism is a massive part of crime. And so when we did no cash bail, yes, there are a number of guys who are down on their luck, high, whatever. There's a number of factors. And when we did no cash bail for them, they just went out and did more crime. And it became a real significant problem. And so
they're struggling
at
to
a certain
think.
point, I gotta cut you off because you made a couple points that I definitely disagree with.
Right. So, let me just button it up this way.
Okay.
And there's other factors. But my point is,
I think I win this unless I
how do we get to the
fuck
right
up.
reform so we have justice and they don't beat up black guys for no reason,
okay.
beat up homeless people for no reason, they don't shoot people for no reason, but at the
So
same time,
Queen's under
have a
attack,
reasonable
Bishop's
policy
under
for
attack,
citizens.
Pawn's
Okay,
under attack.
Great.
Obviously,
So,
they want to defend
I've said
the
this
Queen.
Before, I'm not an abolitionist in the sense that, like, I don't believe that there is no necessity for a group of people, whether it's democratically organized or not, that will maintain the presence of law and order, but also solve crimes. And
if I traded.
Do what police are theoretically supposed to do: protect and serve the community, protect and serve the people. In the United States of America,
I think what I'll do though is
now
that your Queen's out of the way,
the police force or whatever it was originally in its original inceptions, whether in the North they were the guys who were supposed to protect commerce in shipyards or slave catchers in the South, have ever done that. They've always been protecting and serving the interests of capital. So that's definitely an issue that I have.
What does that move?
Having said that, however, you brought up a couple different points that I disagree with.
Yeah, so
in terms of defund the police, and also about how
fucking
less police have caused more crime, and crime has like exploded in cities and whatnot.
Contributing.
I do not believe that in the slightest. I do believe that what is known as the
now you're under
flu
check, homie.
has
Fuck
created
you.
a lot
You gotta
of
move.
issues that police are supposed to theoretically solve, which they never really have done a good job with. If you look
Now
at
you're
clearance
fourth.
rates,
Fuck
you
you.
will realize that.
Take it.
Okay, but beyond that, it's gotten even worse than it was before, because these are the most selfish, the most
Oh my god,
lazy,
I'm so dumb.
the most entitled,
That's fine.
gigantically,
It's fine.
insanely
We're
violent,
gonna start trading
uneducated
pawns.
paramilitary group that you could have ever fucking put together, and all of their ineptitude and criminal negligence
Start trading,
is
bitch.
constitutionally
Let's
protected.
fucking go.
They have no right to they have no duty to actually have to protect you. They can shoot you if they perceive you to be a threat when you're running away. All of these things have been protected by the Supreme Court. The real reason is because police are supposed to be a violent brigade that will defend and protect the interests of capital when push comes to shove. That is the reason why they are the way that they are. Okay? The idea that their funding is fine and that their numbers are diminishing, and that's what actually is like a real gigantic problem for crime, is, in my opinion, a historical and completely incorrect. They have gotten more money year over year, including in the defund the police years, where not a single fucking precinct, with I believe one exception, it might have been Minneapolis, if I'm not mistaken, okay? Not a single fucking precinct actually had diminished resources or diminished funds. As a matter of fact, they got more money, and they got the most amount of money in comparison to all of the other amenities that the local governments are supposed to offer. The Los Angeles Police Department gets costs taxpayers $8 million a day to operate. Okay, and what is that operation? Fucking not doing shit when a robbery
It's
is
like the
happening.
weakest attack.
Okay, now if you ask them, they'll say it's because you don't want me to be violent.
You're losing.
You made this.
Just
You made
fucking
me
forfeit.
this way. You don't want me to stop the crime, so I'm not doing it. They're like petulant little fucking children, okay, who refuse to do the fucking job that they are supposed to do. They have the best fucking workplace protections. They basically live in like a social democracy. They're the only individuals in society that have like fat pension programs and permanent job security. And then on top of that, what is their job? Is to be able to fucking shoot people if they want to and get away with it. It's fucking insane. Okay?
So
It's nuts. The entire structure is fundamentally broken. Okay, and that is by design. They are supposed to be that way. They are supposed to operate that way because when push comes to shove, when people are rioting in the streets or whatever, okay, when the inherent contradictions become ever present, and people start to react to that in either direction, okay, whether it's like reactionary activity, 3%ers and the like, or whether it's like people fucking throwing Molotov cocktails or whatever because they're losing their minds at the reality that they have no economic prospects, and it feels like their lives are getting progressively shittier. Okay, they will sit there and they will put their fucking police force in rich neighborhoods and protect those people and ensure that storefronts are.
You're out of pawns, homie.
So, there's actually a lot I agree with you on. The main difference is that I think all those factors contribute, whereas you think the biggest factor is the cops basically not doing their job, / their job was always misdirected in the first place, right? So I don't disagree with you on that at all. I just think that that's a big part of the equation, but not the whole equation. So, and I'll give you a couple of examples from LA to give
What
you
did
a
you
sense
think you were
of
gonna
what
do?
I think are the issues. So in terms of the funding or the number of cops, I think that is a factor. You don't think it's a factor, but I actually think it's a relatively small factor.
If that was the case, then policing would have gotten better year over year as their funds grew, right?
And so, by the way, though, hold on. Don't make that argument, Hus, because crime statistics go way better throughout the years.
See
budgets
predictions. One person predicted we win.
Now, but I don't think it's that simple either.
Did we win? Yes.
No, there was a lot of different things that happened with crime that made crime go lower, including, by the way, lead in the walls and the paints and the
analysis.
Cars. It's a very complicated issue, right?
Yeah, but I'm glad that you at least brought up the lead point because
since I don't have any more reviews, we just base it on the bar.
Areas where police budgets, have not gone up as high as the United States of America.
Yeah, I'm just pointing out that it doesn't help your cause to say that the budgets have gone up and crime has gone down. That did happen. I don't think that's a great correlation either. Don't get me wrong. Okay, now I think and I agree with you that the bigger problem, the cops not doing their job, is in a story that I'm going to tell you. But it's also because of some of the laws that we passed.
Yeah,
and so
I
now
think those moves were like where I first started getting them.
And they should not be misdemeanors because misdemeanors get pled down to nothing. Felonies get pled down to misdemeanors. Misdemeanors get pled down to nothing.
Fucking 1468. I ain't gonna fucking beat you. What the fuck?
What crimes are you talking about?
Sexual assaults are misdemeanors. Okay, that's insane. It's totally insane. So a guy in New York subway took a dump and smeared it on a woman's face, and that was a misdemeanor. How is that a misdemeanor? Are you insane?
Okay.
If I win, I get 16. If I lose, I don't lose anything.
And
okay,
maybe
that's
some
fair.
mistakes were made there, and they should have made some of those things misdemeanors. And that's exactly my point. You don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater, and you don't have to go to extremes and say we should only focus on one or the other, right? But now I'll give you an anecdote that is an example of the type of thing that happens. So I have a neighbor who's...
by the way, we're not operating under the principle that like New York, the New York Police Department, or the New York court structure, or New York in general, currently led by a cop mayor, is in any way, shape, or form like engaging in police abolition, right? Or defunding the police.
No, but...
Because it is more expensive to run the NYPD than like multiple countries' military.
Yeah, I don't think the budget is the issue in New York. So, so let me give you the
anecdote. But you used the poop example to,
No, that example was not about budgeting at all. That example was, if that's a misdemeanor, it gets pled down to nothing. So we have to make sure the serious crimes are felonies.
Okay. By the way, so you and I do agree on NYPD not being underfunded, but if you ask the NYPD, they are the most underfunded.
Oh, of course, they're always going to say that.
Okay.
Look, are you kidding me?
So they're lying.
So
okay.
here, I'm gonna get to that in a second. Of course they're lying. Of course they are. So it's not, what am I trust? Do I just trust cops? No way. So let me explain. So I have a neighbor. We wound up having some deranged person.
Also, that guy was charged with felonies apparently. The poop man.
So good. I'm happy that he was, but there's.
So the question.
I'm guessing maybe someone saw me on chess.com like last time, and they just challenged me because for a 1468 to challenge someone that's 659.
Well, it's your anecdote.
That's great. Let's find out why he was let go, because he definitely should not have been let go.
Okay, so you brought up an anecdote.
So that was about cash bail.
So you're
he got out because there's no cash bail. Right?
Okay, got it. Cash bail was important to talk about as well, which is really, really, really important, especially with the conditions in Rikers as the way that they are. One reason why.
Hold on, can I just tell the story because it informs the rest of the conversation?
I didn't think that I had to fact check you on something, but of course we're gonna have to cut through for a second. You know what I mean?
Okay, so why was he let go? Was it cash bail or a felony misdemeanor issue? Because it was definitely one of them.
I don't know why he was let go.
Okay,
you're the one who brought it up. I did not know.
Times. If I misremembered and it was 12 or 9, okay, corrected. No big deal. I'm happy to have whatever it was corrected. But there's a million examples of just like that.
The reason why cash bail and all of these kinds of, I guess, supposedly progressive implementations are happening is not because people have George Soros-backed district attorneys that want to undermine the American criminal justice system. It is out of necessity because of how draconian the American criminal justice system is that we simply do not have enough space in our carceral state that currently chains 25% of the entire population's incarcerated population, despite America being only 4% of the world's entire population. We have an overpopulation and overcrowding problem in our prison system, and that problem didn't happen overnight. It did not materialize out of nowhere. It happened with centuries of having the most draconian outlook on crime and punishment and refusing to analyze the structural issues that cause crime, the poverty cycle, the cycle of poverty and violence. That is why we are now at a situation where our prison population, our prisons are filled to the fucking brim, and the alternative is what? Like building more prisons, I guess, instead of trying to push for a different way of trying to solve the underlying reasons as to why crime and mental disorder manifests in the public. That is my argument.
Yeah. No. So listen, if you say we imprison way too many people, I 100% agree. So now, but then you got to break it down. So why did we imprison too many people? 80s, 90s, 2000s, etc. Because we had insane drug laws. That marijuana possession was a very serious crime, right? Filled the jails with people.
There's one other reason.
Marijuana.
There's one other reason.
What's that?
There's a material reason. Slavery.
Yeah, I got you. So, and we build private prisons. The private prisons fund the politicians. All that is
private
true.
prisons are a minor, even though they are like objectively one of the most cruel and inhumane things that you could do. That like Europeans look to and go, "What the fuck? You guys have that? Like you guys capitalize and profit off of the existence of fucking prisons? Like that's nuts." That's a small part of the puzzle, a small part of the conversation. So the state prison structure also relies on slavery as a form of punishment.
But Haas, okay, I first of all, I think that the prisons were far too many, and we were imprisoning too many people, and mainly on drug charges. And yes, there are nefarious other reasons that you point out. I point out private prisons. You point out slavery. And yes, slavery is real. They make them work for $1 or less per day, which is ridiculous. I know and fight against all of them.
Cenk said, "Get your money up, not your funny up." You say, "Get your money up to the fucking to the prison system." You know, pay these motherfuckers more.
So okay, but look, but at the end of the day, what is it that we're putting people in prison for? If you say just generically, okay, let's have less people in prison, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, should we let out murderers, rapists? Of course not, right? Mm-hmm. So the question is, what should people go to prison for? So we all agree they should not go to prison for marijuana possession.
I'm back.
Insane, right? But we all agree that they should go to prison for murder, rape, around the edges, but those are important edges.
I'm fucked.
So now when you say the prisons are awful, I totally agree. I don't know why we allow for the prisons to be disgusting, right? And how they treat people, the solitary confinement.
I mean, the average existence of a poor person in America is disgusting. Why the fuck would they care about prisoners?
Verno, what time are you gonna get home?
The prisons is beyond inhumane. And of course. So like, there's all the jokes like, aha, you're gonna go to prison, you're gonna get raped. Why is that funny? Why is that a thing that we think is normal? No, rape is not normal. People going to prison and getting raped is not normal. That's insane, right? So do we need massive reform of the prisons? Yes. Do we actually need to spend more money to make those prisons bearable? And I don't mean just give it to the guards. I don't mean just give it to the warden. I mean actually make the prisons bearable. And we know that creates less crime. Look at Norway. Recidivism is much lower in Norway, and they have much more.
Oh, yeah, so today's Wednesday.
Reasonable people agree.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
The majority of the country agrees, but yet our goddamn politicians won't do it. So those are great places to start. Okay. When you get to the issue of cash bail, Haas, I was in favor of it, but now it clearly shows that there's a problem with recidivism. So can we agree, hey, you get no cash bail on the first one.
Can I say something?
So if I go up,
second one, if
you take, I take,
you
take, I take, you take.
Sorry, then you need bail because you are.
So we don't do that. We don't know
that. And I'm not gonna let you do that. I'm not gonna let you brutalize the citizens because it's not fair. It's not just. We have to talk about the things that are real, that are in the middle.
So
hold on.
You take and I take.
This is important because let's walk through some stuff here, because last time you were here, you brought up some talking points that were just
that's fine.
I was fundamentally at odds with, and this is another issue of disagreement, a point of contention. Okay, so as far as cash bail goes, okay,
I think it's checkmate.
Walk me through what you think happens in that structure. Like, do you think that someone goes up and in front of a judge and they're like a habitual reoffender, and the judge just goes, "Oh, there's no cash bail, so you're released"? Do you think that's what happens?
Unfortunately, a great amount of times that is what happens. Yes.
Okay. No, it's not a great amount of times when that happens. It does certainly happen, though. I'm not going to say that it doesn't, but this is, in many respects, the classic Michael Dukakis moment, where crime is a hot button issue and it invokes a lot of passion out of people.
I don't think I was going
so anecdotes work really well in comparison to actual empirical evidence.
I'll go my complete
the problem with cash
history.
bail is not that like people just keep stealing cars. You can give me 1,000 examples overall of being like, this guy's a carjacker and he got released immediately and he jacked another car, right? Ultimately, the data does not show that these people are becoming repeat offenders, and what you are describing is an issue within the criminal justice system with a singular judge, or maybe some judges that fuck up every now and then. Because ultimately, if someone is a habitual reoffender, the job of the judge that you are bringing up is to say,
see if I want to play
no,
something
dog,
else.
Maybe
Maybe
you're
I'll
a
just
poop
stick
guy.
to.
You're the guy. I'm sorry. You
chest, though.
smeared too much poop. Like, this is your second time doing this. I'm not offering you bail, because cash bail does not mean that judges have no power to offer. Judges have no power to stop you from, entering a carceral facility at any given moment.
If you committed a murder, you're not going to get bail anyway.
Exactly. So that is
precise. Then do you agree with me that if you do it a second time,
bullet?
Then you need to pay bail?
Blitz.
I don't think that legislating that is the smart decision, because, well, if you
go ahead.
Let's go
then
3-2 blitz.
then the 3 strikes law would be a smart idea.
Okay, no, 3 strikes is you lose your entire life.
Yeah.
You lose. Yeah. Etc. And so, no, there's a difference. Like, there was a guy in Louisiana that was serving a life sentence for stealing a pair of hedge clippers, right?
Okay,
but that's a different issue.
The principle
than,
behind
hey, I'm letting you out to do another crime and another crime and another crime.
The principle.
I'm asking you, like, so would you? Is there? If it's not 2, is it 3? Is it 4?
What you're describing is literally codifying that in that way is quite literally running into the same exact problem that leads into the carceral state. Whereas, the problem there is judges should have discretion, okay? And they should apply that discretion appropriately, rather than saying they are no longer able to apply discretion whatsoever because the law does not permit you. Because
I'm perfectly comfortable saying if someone does, especially if you go to 3 crimes, they got let out with no bail. No, sorry, brother.
That's quite literally the principle.
The law,
you're describing the principle behind the 3 strikes law.
Except for the fact that one is about bail, and you're going to get an actual court date where you will receive justice and you will receive a trial,
which of course,
etc. The other one is we take your liberty away for the rest of your life.
Which of course brings us back. Which of course brings us back to the major reason as to why people are just kind of letting people go, and that is that Rikers is an insane place to even fucking exist. And no, a lot of those people are not getting their fucking day in court immediately because the courts are fucking backed up, because we have an incredibly draconian criminal justice system.
That's why you shouldn't commit 3 crimes in a row, because you don't want to go to Rikers.
Okay, that's awesome that you said that, because you think that higher sentences or more aggressive ways of punishing crime is an adequate deterrent strategy, when there is not a single piece of paper that you can point to throughout. You just gave that as a deterrence.
No,
it doesn't work.
No, brother,
it doesn't work. It has never worked.
No, hold on. So when a guy commits 3 crimes in a row, I'm not worried about deterrence. I'm worried about getting him the fuck off the street so he stops punching defenseless women in the face while they're trying to get to work, okay? So I'm going to take his ass off the street. You've committed enough goddamn crimes. when we're going to put you away. And if you want to cry about it, well, sad day for you.
I'm shocked
you shouldn't have punched a poor lady in the subway 3 freaking different times.
I'm shocked that you do not see, on the one hand, you have sympathy for the other guy who was swept away under the same draconian rules when he like.
Because that guy can't get out of prison for life. The other guy just has to go to trial and prove he didn't do it.
Okay. So the guy that was suspected, because you don't have to actually do a crime to like get thrown in Rikers.
If they trade.
The guy that was suspected,
yes,
in a
and
situation,
that does happen.
In a situation where
a much more common occurrence is guys doing crimes over and over and over and over and over.
Okay, no, that's not.
Recidivism is like the #1 problem.
Recidivism,
a tiny amount of criminals create a giant number of crimes.
Wait. I know that. Recidivism doesn't happen specifically on the bail side, though. Recidivism is the sum total of all people who were incarcerated that get out of prison after serving their sentence, Cenk. There is a much larger number of people that are serving prison sentences and getting out and then engaging in crime again, rather than like being apprehended for a moment, being detained, and then fucking going out and doing the crime again. That's not recidivism.
You're just talking past reality. You guys are going into the... Hold on. You guys are going into stores. Guys are harassing people on the streets, etc. And they're walking, brother. They're walking. And that's why they're coming back and doing it again and again and again. If you say that's not happening, you're arguing against reality. And that's exactly what I'm saying here. You're losing people. You're losing people who are on your side because they go, that's not reality. That's not the reality that I live in. They're locking up all this stuff in the CVS because guys keep coming in and taking it.
That's another really good. See, again, all matter of.
You think that it just
all matter?
Everybody's making it up. CVS is making it up.
Well, they're not. As a matter of fact, if you look at the actual data coming from the National Retailers Association, they literally talk about shrink, which is not necessarily simply people stealing. 36% of that, the $112 billion number that they point to in terms of total shrink, actually is external theft in the form of organized retail theft, which, by the way, isn't the overwhelming majority of external theft that's happening. It's just a fucking media fantasy. Okay, 26.
No, it's not. We see with our own eyes, Haas.
Dude, do you want me to describe to you what the reality is by giving you empirical evidence, or are we going to talk like you're a reactionary conservative by just, talking about your fifis? Like, this is not.
Fifis? You're crazy, man.
No. You're literally. Oh my God, you're doing Ben Shapiro.
No, brother, come on. You're telling me that Philadelphia didn't happen? Are you telling me they didn't go into that goddamn store?
No, of course it happened. Do you think that 112 billion
I think I got to like 690.
Okay, exactly.
Now it's worse because they've added this extra layer.
Is it worse? That's really interesting because according to the National Retailers Association,
I might have gone to 700, but they immediately lost like a shit ton.
That actual study shows that shrink
I lost a bunch of games. I was playing
former years, and it's actually trailing along at 1% increase.
I think I was just playing at night when I was like not actually into it, and I just was making mistake after mistake after mistake. Usually how I lose a lot.
Or do you think that it's
or if I'm like streaming it and then I'm like not focused in the game. Like right now I'm just but this is rapid. I meant like on
keep doing that.
Don't do that.
Okay.
On the other game mode it was 700. On here I think my highest was like 400.
Things that are damaged in the process, that's a part of shrink as well.
But then I did also lose a shit ton and get to like one. I think I was like at 100.
According to the national,
closing down the stores?
Because real estate.
Because you can't make money.
That's insane. They can't make money because of real estate, Cenk. They can't make money because brick and mortar has no basis anymore. There's no way to make money with a fucking Walgreens. No, that's a much larger factor. It's insane to say that like 3 fucking teenagers or 100 teenagers even are a gang of roving teenagers are able to literally take down the entire retailers
this is
in
rapid
neighborhoods. That's crazy. You know where shrink? You know why shrink is actually increased? Right self-checkout. That's why shrink is actually increased because you know what contributes to shrink? That $112 billion number. You know what actually increases that? You and everyone else that goes into a fucking Wawa and like steals the Skittles.
I like how he's saying sorry.
Happening
like, don't
more
talk
frequently.
Shit.
Roving gangs of people that are able to steal billions of dollars of merchandise, or a sum total of every fucking American doing the same goddamn thing without even thinking about it when they just go into a Wawa and yoink a Skittles at 2 a.m. when they're high as fuck. That's what is actually the shrink.
But Haas, I'm not denying any of the factors that you mentioned. inflation. Those are all real factors. But you're denying the one factor that everyone can see with their eyes.
Let's
So
see if I can
are
still
you
read it.
saying, so what should we do with
That's-
those guys?
that's what
who
I'm
bring
going
you
for
to
right
those
now.
places?
Okay.
Shouldn't we put them in prison right away and make sure?
Do I think that police should stop robberies? Yes, I do.
Thank you.
That is insane. No, that's not a few moment because the reality
What?
because the reality that you are
What
dealing
your
with
shit, bitch?
is not like what is actually happening, and it saddens me to
sure,
see
I'm down.
you go along with mainstream media narratives that are inherently
It's
reactionary.
not, Haas, you're not living in reality. So,
Brother,
okay,
how
so-
am I not living? I just gave you empirical evidence. You gave me look around. That is the reality. How is that not any different than
So,
what Ben
Haas,
Shapiro does?
First of all, we all see that they walk into the stores, they take the stuff. We all see that the stuff gets locked up. We all see the stores closing down. Not only that, we all experience it. So
Yeah,
finally,
it's
can I
checkmate,
just
though.
get to that?
I gave him
I
a
was talking
checkmate
about,
there.
because it's instructive,
No,
not
because-
because it improves definitively anything, but it's instructive for the point I'm trying to make.
Oh, what?
Okay? Which is partly agrees with some of the things that you said. Okay,
sure.
so we got a guy in the neighborhood.
I'll
He's
go
carrying
to
this
the
metal
link right
pipe,
now.
and He's sharpened the edge, and it looks like a freaking spear. By the way, there was another lady with a machete, and these are real stories. You can catch feelings over, but they're absolutely real. And by the way, the lady with the machete, nobody did anything about her because the cops say, "Oh no, we don't see the machete," and that's the cops not doing their job, right?
I agree. Yeah.
But at the same time, they go, "We take her in, she comes right back out." Okay, so at some point, she finally grabbed a mom and a kid. Finally, they took her away. She comes back 48 hours later. Okay, fine. But now, the guy with the spear is yelling the N-word
How long did it time you
24/7 on the corner of
120
the
seconds.
block. So I have a biracial neighbor. She comes out, and he sees her, and he starts calling her the N-word, and he's got a goddamn weapon, right? And then cops come out, eventually, begrudgingly, right? And the cops say,
Here, let me
"No, we're
try
not
to
gonna-" He puts away the
time you
spear,
out.
so, the other lady takes it away. And the cops go, "No, we're not going to do anything about it." And so, and they say, "Why?" My neighbor asks, "Why? Two reasons. One, we bring them in, and they get released. You want me to bring them in? He's going to be back out here in a couple of hours. Okay?
Earlier, you
Okay.
said
So
you don't
hold-
believe cops, and now you're saying you believe
Hold on,
cops.
you're
Let me
back.
finish the story. And then as they're leaving, they then say, "No, if you care about this, you should care about how you vote." So that's the cops
there you
saying,
go.
"I'm not going to do my goddamn job unless you vote Republican, unless you can let me kick people's ass for a living. I don't like solving crime. I like kicking ass, and when I have an overwhelming advantage, right?" So is that real? Yes, it's real. But it is also real, Haas, that when they bring them in, they let them out. And so what happened with the lady with the machete? She's back out in 48 hours.
Thank you for bringing this up because it made me more angry at the cops.
That's my point. Both
Okay,
things
good.
are true, Haas.
Okay,
Cops
got it.
aren't doing their jobs. And if I was in New York City, please, if I was Bill de Blasio back in the day, I don't know if you remember, the cops turned their backs on him in some press conference when he was doing like a mild critique of cops or something.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
They run the show over there, the Sergeant Benevolent Association.
Yeah,
they
you know what I would do?
dox his child.
Yeah, you know what I would have done? I would be like, "You're fired and you're fired. Go ahead and sue me, okay? And police chief, you're fucking fired. And if you don't do your goddamn job, you're all gonna get fired.
Okay.
Go ahead and sue me. Okay?
Can we before
so both are factors.
Okay, can we get back to the major difference of agreement that we had because like you were doing the anecdote thing while I was trying to show you something that is objectively true. Walgreens when they closed down their shops in certain areas, they said it was crime. Crime was the reason, right? I at the time said that's fucking bullshit. And it didn't matter because everyone was doing the same thing that you're doing. Look around. Crime is happening everywhere, right? Except Walgreens now openly states a year after the fact,
trade.
"Oh yeah, I guess the CFO came out and said, the chief financial officer said that maybe we cried too much last year over theft." So the question at this point is, why did they do that? I know why they did that. Do you have an idea why they said
no
crime
trading.
was the reason why they were closing their shops?
So
I
look,
see.
You're taking Walgreens as one example. And there's a
Not
lot
leaving
of
you
different
there
companies
though.
that
But if I'm
react in
taking-
different ways,
Okay.
and there are a number of factors. So if Walgreens admits that they overstated the crime, there was a real reason why they closed their shops. I agree.
So
one of the other factors.
What is the
reason?
Right?
Yeah. So what is the reason? So what do you think it was?
The point you make about real estate is actually a perfectly good point.
So you think it was
that
Amazon?
Is also one of the factors.
Okay, so you think it was like same-day delivery, Amazon, e-commerce dominating?
That's complicated too because that's a contributing factor. But COVID made a giant difference because people were not actually physically going into the
Fair,
stores.
true. So that's good. So you recognize all of that. Okay. So if even one of these executives that was leading the fucking charge openly admits that they were lying a year prior, and the National Retailers Association that puts out those numbers on shrink is openly admitting that the increase in shrink is like actually perfectly in line with the increase in retail shopping and it's totally normal, then you as a smart person values empirical evidence over personal anecdotes should in that situation do what?
So Haas, look, if you want, next time I'll come with a book of statistics for you. But are you saying that in Portland, the good progressives in Portland full of shit and they
I'm dumb, I didn't fucking notice it.
Got rid of their progressive legislators and got tougher on crime because it was just all a mirage and they bought into the mirage.
Yeah.
No, Haas, you see the crime, you see the numbers going up in select cities.
That's fine.
You see it sometimes affecting some retailers but not other retailers. And so it is a confluence of factors. But if you think that actual crime is not one of the factors, go ask the good people of Portland, go ask the good people of Seattle, who are all overwhelmingly progressive. And they're saying, we've had enough of this shit. Will you, for God's sake, when someone commits a crime, put them in goddamn jail?
Okay. I don't know what to tell you because, like, you can come back with more statistics, which I think if you are a media person with a profound amount of influence, 5 billion views a month, like you said.
No, a year.
Or 5 billion views a year, okay? You should probably have those statistics because those statistics should have been guiding your
So you think the people
point
of
of
Portland
view.
and Seattle just totally got played? There was no crime. The
I'm not saying that
situation wasn't out of control.
I'm not saying that there is no crime. I've never said that there is no crime.
But then it was overhyped.
Crime
and
is
they threw out their progressive legislators because they were wrong.
That's really interesting that you mentioned that because in San Francisco,
Oh God,
was
I
recalled,
did not see that.
Because he's like
Good move.
George Soros backed DA, and yet it's not like they got a handle on crime after that.
Because it's about the laws, it's not about one individual. So that's why I'm focusing on too many misdemeanors that should be felonies, and we got to put a cap on no cash bail. I'm giving you very specific, reasonable amendments of what we need to do to have a fair prison system and a fair criminal justice system that does not over-imprison people and that does not under-imprison people, so that you protect everyone.
Come on, you can't say that there's a problem with under-imprisoning people in America, right?
Well, these days, unfortunately, in some cities there are because of these laws that we passed.
Some cities, what cities? Point to a single city.
Yeah, I have it on
there's an under imprisonment issue
for the last 3 to 5 years.
Yes. Yes.
Portland, Seattle, San Francisco.
Okay. San Francisco or in the California in its entirety, okay? Because San Francisco is like, what do you point to? San Francisco's under policing, like the classic grand larceny restrictions have been limited, right? So why did it happen in the last year or so when that's been in place as a law for what 10 fucking years almost?
That's because they started watching the local news and going, oh, can do this and there's no consequences. Let's just all go steal shit.
Okay.
Because nobody's getting arrested.
Okay, got it. But we already established that retail theft has not actually increased according to the Retail Association. So where is that happening? That is outside of the bounds of reason.
So look, you're coming at all right, Hasan.
Honestly, right now I'm just
credible stats about crime because you're obsessed with proving that our eyes are lying to us. And that the stats are perfectly lovely.
You are 100% better.
There's no extra retail
this is really important. This is really important.
We're all making it up.
This is the same conversation. Cenk, this is the same conversation that I had in some respects with Andrew Tate, right? No, I'm serious. Anecdotes have a tendency to misguide us because, of course, when you see something happening right in front of your eyes,
honestly, I almost did not see that. Holy shit!
Tendency to think this is happening infinitely more frequently, which is why we rely on empirical evidence, right? That is.
They're letting people go. That's a fact. That's a
okay,
fact.
but one part of that.
The lady has a machete. She's back on the corner in 48 hours.
I understand.
You're denying people's reality. You're driving them crazy. And you're making them go, I'm not going to vote for that person or anyone associated with that guy under penalty of law. I am not going to let my kids get kidnapped by a machete lady because Haas has some stats about Walgreens.
No, you're mixing and matching two different things when we're talking about it. You're saying crime across the board, specifically in retail stores, is happening, and it's happening at levels that previously were unheard of or unseen.
You're obsessed
I'm showing
with the retail
you
stores. I'm telling you
No, that's one aspect of it. As far as the
I think
criminal mishandling of
it's
the
GG's.
personal
I don't think I'm
situation
gonna
that
stalemate
you're
you.
talking about, I'm right there with you. It is unimaginably cruel that police have this fucking stranglehold on the neck of Americans where they just go, sorry, I'm not going to do my fucking job. That requires swift justice.
GG.
In the sense that these cops that misbehave in this way, that get paid $300,000 a year with overtime pay that they fucking did, all to just sit around in a fucking parking lot and jerk off all day and look at their fucking laptops and drive around and
I did not win.
Drive over fucking red lights with their lights off every
What
goddamn
happened?
day for no fucking particular reason. Those pieces of shit need to learn to do their goddamn jobs. One of that is being
factor. You're wrong.
How is that not the most significant
are they letting
factor?
them go or are they not letting them go?
They're letting them go and then telling you they're letting them go because sorry, there's nothing we can do because
They're
these
not
woke
them go.
DAs are going
letting them go, Haas. The prosecutors are letting them go, and then the cops are not doing their job. It's a double whammy. Okay? So are you saying the prosecutors haven't changed anything about cash bail?
Do you think
haven't changed anything about misdemeanors versus felonies?
Do you think
and that it's just magically
Do
happening?
you think prosecutors are just like, we love that fucking do you think that in the United States of America, under this criminal justice system, okay,
Yeah, good game.
do you think that
You're definitely
prosecutors
better
are
than me.
going, we love crime.
I feel like
Let these people go.
there's
So what is
times
it
where I
about?
play like
Good
I'm
evening.
like
Go back to your own country. What the
Like,
fuck?
so-
This
I'm
used
so
to be a
follow.
felony, but now it's a
there's
misdemeanor.
times where I play a lot better where I'm like I can like think about like moves ahead,
I can't
but
control these cases.
I don't know if
I
it's
can only
like
try about
when I
2% of
stream
these
or
cases.
like because I have like I'm watching a fucking podcast plus watching this fucking debate plus playing. That throws me off more, but hey,
All I'm saying, Haas, is a
still
slight
fun.
change where we go,
And then if I
those
lose
crimes
if I
should
lose
not be
elo, then I
misdemeanors,
can
they
just
should be felonies.
fucking
Go
play
one by
more
one,
and then get back
and I
up.
bet you we get
I'm not
overwhelming
worried about
agreement,
like
right?
losing
And the other slight
losing
change
elo because then I can just
hey,
fucking
if
play
somebody
again
commits
and
a
get
crime
more.
once, don't make them do a cash bail. That's not fair to poor people, middle class people.
Why did it
etc.
time you out again?
But somebody does, in my opinion, too. You could say
Oh,
8,
that's
whatever the
so
number
dumb.
is, and we
My
can
bad.
argue over the number. But if they do
I
2 crimes back
don't
to
remember
back,
having that on.
no, then
Okay.
then you got to stay in
Uh,
jail, and
that
you got to pay
Streamlabs?
bail. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, Streamlabs.
I don't
Give me a
agree
second. I'm
with
gonna
your
fix that shit on Streamlabs
solutions because
I
the issue,
turned that off on
the-
everything
the,
else.
The problem here is that, and the reason why I went back to retail theft is because it's the one that like everyone fucking constantly talks about, is that when you're talking about like violently threatening someone with a fucking weapon, okay, that's
Nightbot
not a
isn't the
misdemeanor.
it.
Like,
In a lot of places, it is.
no, it's not.
It's not Nightbot. It's Streamlabs
Okay,
because
in
I
Los
have it
Angeles,
turned off
is it
on
a- is it a-
Nightbot.
Okay.
It's just Streamlabs for some
Threatening
reason. I
assault
forgot.
with a deadly weapon is a misdemeanor in Los
come on.
Angeles.
No. First of all, let's look it up. If
It's
you
a
want,
felony.
we could-
Because
It's a felony.
No, dude,
the
this is just the most
Streamlabs
extreme example.
cloud
What do you
bot
mean?
thing,
Attempted murder, is
That's
that a
your-
misdemeanor?
Wait, no, I did not
Okay.
use attempted murder. I
Oh, yeah.
used the
I did
anecdote
not
that
turn
you
that off.
brought up. You said
should be better.
making criminal threats or threatening to assault someone with a deadly weapon
Okay,
is
that's better.
lowered to a misdemeanor. It's your
The
example.
links
I
I
didn't
did
bring
have it
that
on
up.
because
brought
I
it up,
don't want
and I'm
people
fact-checking
spamming
you.
links
I don't know why that machine lady
to
was
scam
there.
people because I know
So I
there's
wasn't there
people
enough
that
to
will
confirm.
click on links
in
in the
terms
chat.
of
I know
tons
my
of
friend
sexual
Alfredo's on here, but
assault
yeah.
here, petty. I just looked up.
yeah,
like, common
links, yeah,
misdemeanors,
but
right?
the
This
fucking
doesn't mean
paragraph
we,
thing, like I thought
so
I turned it off on
it-
everything
it-
else,
it-
just
Why-
I guess
real
not on
and
Streamlabs.
of it, but
But
some
yeah,
assault,
the links.
and
Okay.
DUIs,
Honestly,
on and on and on.
No, I love that. We will.
I
Get
can
into that
just-
in a second.
Yeah, I just turned it off. That way, I like if I ever see a link, I can just judge it myself and do it. It's not like I have a shit ton of fucking viewers.
This is something that you have used in your commentary. Should you, in your opinion,
I'm actually gonna switch over to Party Animals for a bit. If anyone wants to stick around, I think I am done. Like an hour of chess is fine for me.
Last time you were here and now, do you think that you should have? Oh, okay, you were. Okay,
yeah, I usually don't. Well, I've had people throw links up here, but usually that one, like, I just take the timeout off. But that's like 3 lines. That's not even a fucking paragraph. But yeah, it's not something I really need on there.
Front yard, and I'm say, I'm going to call the cops, and he starts to sexually pleasure himself in front of her window, and he says, "Go ahead and call the cops. They won't show up." Partly your point, Haas.
Nice.
But when they do show up, they go,
yeah.
What do you want me to do?
I think
I can't. They're gonna let
I started like the first time I ever played was like sometime in high school. One of my friends that knew how to play, like, taught me how to play.
Hanging out, and pleasuring himself and doing whatever the hell.
And then I kind of played then, but I kind of like just fell off and didn't play ever again until maybe like a year before the pandemic, or maybe a year before that. I was just on a fucking YouTube rabbit hole, and then I found fucking Magnus videos, and I was like, fuck, I want to play again. And then I just got on fucking chess.com and started playing.
Okay, good. I'm glad we at least agree on
I don't play often. I don't play consistently enough, and I don't do all this, like, I don't do all the shit that I should be to get better. So it's why I'm not like.
You already said what I
wanted. Like, if I would try harder and like do the shit to stay consistent, I would probably be like at least 800.
I think that you should be able to masturbate.
But nah.
I never said that. No, I don't think that these are imaginary issues. I've never said that these are imaginary issues. I'm simply stating that.
Oh yeah, Gotham's also fucking good. Did you watch chess boxing? It was a Ludwig event. Gotham was not part of the chess boxing, but he did do the chess commentator bullshit.
As a matter of fact, in many instances, the very same authorities that we're getting these numbers from openly admit that these are not as severe as the media presents it.
No, the crime problem is way worse because the cops aren't even bringing them in. So there's all this crime that's not even being reported.
Okay, please, hold on. You asked me what my perspective is, and I'm telling you what my perspective is.
Hi.
You and I have
welcome
already
in.
Going through this conversation.
I started.
One of the major problems is that the police.
Nah, it's not about like chess for the chess boxing thing though. That one is more about like just people punching each other between rounds of chess, and that was funny. But yeah, for me it was more I found Magnus and I watched Magnus in Gotham, and that's it. Like, I'm not like super like involved. I'm not like learning, fucking studying shit, and just I play casually for fun.
In an effort to.
Yeah, I would recommend chess boxing. Watch it. There's gonna be another one in 2024, another event. But not right now.
Very upset in the circumstance when the media is also aligning with their interests as well, and then constantly pumping people full of misinformation, as I've shown.
You watch Gotham, so you already know.
All
like,
ends up.
Probably goes over fucking Magnus a lot. But like for Magnus, I just watched like the fucking clips on the YouTube shorts of like him fucking beating someone while he's drunk,
solutions that
which is funny.
Solve some of the underlying problems in which crime manifests.
But I can never play those at their level because that shit's insane.
I've always said that cops are a huge part of the problem. I've said that super clearly 800 times. So what I'm saying
yes, basically it's basically just gang beasts with animals. The mechanics I do like a lot better in this. and it's really fun to play with like friends. So if you
by the way, Crime has
if you have like a bunch of friends and you all want to play together, playing customs is so much fun. Because it's like you're not really worried about winning. Also, like when I'm playing like this, I'm not really worried about winning. It's more funny. It's more funny like
wait. If we're letting everyone
around,
go,
like
that's not
seeing what you
crime
can do.
decreasing, because that's still a. If someone is being
And then if you do have
even if they let them
the
go,
game,
that's still
drops are
factoring in
enabled,
crime
so
increase.
just by watching you can get like this skin that I have, or like free shit to buy in the shop.
They just kept saying, no, I'm not going to arrest him. I'm not going to arrest him. I'm not
Okay.
going to arrest him.
Crime is not calculated on clearance rates. Crime is calculated on arrest numbers.
That's what I'm saying. They're not
I
even
played customs with my friends yesterday, and I was able to fucking destroy everyone.
The woke
I think I played too
DAs
much.
that are backed by George Soros. The problem is, and I think you and I agree on this, the police
it's not as good.
doing their jobs.
No, but Haas, first of all,
I've seen a lot of people play it, but
that's a Republican.
I know. Well, well, you do
I
a
don't know
lot.
if it was better. Or one of my friends started streaming somewhat recently, or he might have been streaming longer, but I only found him recently. He was playing it, so I didn't know anything about it. Dude, I like this hammer because it doesn't knock people out, but it launches them. Like it's, oh shit, that's my teammate. Yeah? No, ya comí.
They are far from politically important.
Infinite no cash bail, or is there a moment where you say,
I think that this literally has to be discretion in court. That prisons would not be fucking overflowing in Los Angeles. In specifically in California. California is an incredible part of the state. Massive problem. You and I have this. That's serious control. That is
looking around and saying,
love what you said there. 5,000 prisoners are being released is an abject lie. These are not violent criminal offenders. You are wrong on that. They are going through the same exact process. They're not being released, Jim. They're not being released tomorrow after doing a pedophilia fuck crime. Okay? These are people who are not violent criminals. These are people who have already served more than half of their sentences. None of them are violent criminals. That are still, even if you know, none of them are violent. Russia in. It is to release 75 prisoners. Dude, that's not like.
So
analyze whether or not they have actually same panel. That panel is like actually pussies or DAs, right? Like those are the same exact people that stop most people from leaving prison.
Games. The same exact procedure.
Yes, the procedure is accelerating the process that most people go through, right? Normally, you commit a crime and you're in prison, let's say, for 15 years. Now, with the new structure, 76,000 inmates that are allowed to leave prison as long as they've served out half of their sentence or more than they've demonstrated behavior throughout the entire process. This is not feeling. You feel like I just explained. That allows them to turn the other cheek on violent criminals.
Why do you think there's a new situation?
The reason,
they're not saying, oh, you know what? Let's just do everything the same.
The reason why. The reason why they are able to do so. California has a horrific carceral state that is over-policed and over-criminalized for far too long. That's why our prison population is overflowing. There are plenty of people that don't need to prison. Perfect. That's great. This program is supposed to find those people and allow them to be released early. That's it. It's not fucking, oh, you did a rape, and then now, tomorrow, you can be free. That's not how that works.
Oh god.
There's no way in the world they're gonna vote. And we shouldn't fix it. There's no problem. There's no problem. That's what they're hearing, Haas. And they will never vote for you for saying that. Do you think that if they watch this, I don't know what this is. That's not how you think in general voter audience thinks that they would vote for you totally. When they hear you talk about this stuff, like, give me any of this.
almost like moneyed interest, always just like you say all the time, going to have a specific narrative that they latch on to, that they hammer over and over again, and then actually implement recall.
Those are things that are true. But if you ignore their problem, it's imaginary. It's a well, you're going to lose people. We're losing people. We're losing people because you're pretending to be good. But it's absolutely
I never said
right back out.
I don't know why. I'm trying to be. Because crime hasn't gone up.
They're not arresting them, boss. They're not arresting them. So there's a rampant crime, and they won't arrest them, which is partly because the cops won't do their job, and partly because they arrest them,
it's
they
entirely
tell them to right the fuck out.
It's entire. If they were arresting them and then they were getting the fuck out immediately, then crime would literally be higher overall in unimagiable. Okay, then fucking deal with the police. Then it's not the woke DAs.
No, because in the beginning when they did arrest them, they did get okay. Look, guy, you know what, Haas?
What
so
you're
this
saying?
Swallowed up the entire conversation. But next time I will come with book and verse, like incredibly specific stats and non-stats.
That'd be great.
And everything else in the world.
It would have been
to show you goddamn reality that everyone else on Earth sees.
No.
That no one agrees with you in the polling.
That would be.
No one agrees with you.
It doesn't. No. You can't use polling
I can't.
or people.
I want to win elections. You don't want to win elections? You want to go with the 2%
no.
instead of the 98%?
If we're having a conversation, a back and forth about what is objectively the reality of what is happening, then you can't use anecdotes and then leap over to the other side and go, well, this doesn't poll well, as a matter of fact. So obviously we should secede on this narrative.
There is no extra crime. You were saying, I saw the stats on the appeal, and I love the appeal, but okay.
Crime?
I saw like
We have
2.5
4 viewers.
articles about it.
I'm
so
probably gonna
pretend
play
that
just
there's
this
no
one more.
That's what do you mean 2.5?
Because
First
I
of
do
all,
like Beat Up Bridge. Stick around though.
I'm saying
I
that
will be
crime
rating someone
increases
that's
and
playing League,
decreases,
so hopefully
and right
you guys
now
stick
we are
around and
still at a
join the
historic
raid.
low in comparison.
So after this game,
Try
I will be ending
Haas.
and
No,
rating.
I'll go back to the 1970s. Crime was higher in 2020, higher in 21, higher now. So
I'll be live again tomorrow though, so you guys might play more Party Animals.
I'm not saying
That way we have drops.
I'm not saying specifically in comparison to the 1970s. Okay. However,
crime has gone up since 2020.
Since COVID, yes. Why has crime gone up since COVID? Not only economic turmoil, but also because no one was fucking outside during COVID. So of course, if you compare it to COVID versus post-COVID, it's going to go up.
Pre-COVID to post-COVID, crime has gone up.
Crime in certain areas, certain kinds of crime, like murder, for example, in Los Angeles, has gone up. Every other kind of crime has either remained stable or lower. What do you mean no?
So crime has gone up generally, and specific kinds of crime have
The only kind of crime that has gone up in Los Angeles, California, is murder. That's it. It's the city that I. You want me to expand on the data? I'm giving you the expansion of the data, and then you say, well, that data doesn't favor my position, so I don't believe it, and you're just fucking cherry picking one data point. No, every other type of crime has gone down in Los Angeles. Well, that's what we're talking. We live in LA. Depends on what kind of crime you're talking about and where you're talking about. Of course, certain areas crime has gone up. Has it gone up to an unimaginable degree that you're talking about? No. Okay, can I ask you a question? We talk about San Francisco. We talk about San Francisco. We talk about Seattle. We talk about all these like blue states, right? Do you think crime has gone up in red states? And if crime has gone up in red states, do you think that red states engage in defund the police narratives? Do you think red states also had a similar structural problem with like woke DAs and whatnot?
knowledgeable first of all. I don't give you that. So then when you get into why, there are things that we've been doing, so it's not your job, it's still even those are rest, even those numbers. There's also and the isolation has also contributed.
Absolutely.
So, and that is why some of them have red states as well as blue states. But then you have to get into like 2-hour debate and crime. Yes, then we can parse, hey, which crime went up in Portland, which crime went down in Portland, which crime went up and down in Portland. But overall, there's also not nearly like they've not shown the depth of the problem in every
Would you say that when we talk about crime, would you say that like as far as macro trends go, do you think that like 2017 to now, based on your assessment, do you think that
the numbers
Fuck.
If I were to tell you that crime has gone down you guys saw what I'm talking about. 2017 is not the same. If I were to tell you that crime has gone down, crime is still down.
Fuck.
and when did it change? Would the laws change in 2017? Would they change in 2018?
Teammates still projecting color. Oh no, never mind.
But that's a little bit misleading. So, whatever the reason is, just consider certain like cops not doing their job. But yes, also changing some of the missing.
Okay. So the reason I think you and I both agree the reason why I said 2017 is because crime has still down since 2017 by 4%. If you look at crime being up since 2019, it's 1%. Do you feel like that
Alright,
corresponds to
we're gonna raid now.
the information that you brought up? Actually,
Everyone that's here, thanks for hanging out.
Here it is. It's a 1% increase from
Hopefully you guys stay for the raid.
28%
See you guys
increase
there.
from 2019, right? 28% increase is the number that you used. 2019. Okay.
Alright.
So
Okay, so
See you guys
and
hopefully
yet that
tomorrow.
still is, and yet
I
that
will be
still is
live.
a decline, a 6%
Alright.